Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, tells the jury to reject Noel Maitland's strategy of deflection and denial.
In her closing arguments, she urges the jury to send the policeman to prison for murdering his girlfriend Donnelly Donaldson.
Major leadership changes announced at NCB Jamaica.
3 attorneys cautioning government against abolishing jury trials.
Training has started in at least one police division for the use of body-worn cameras.
In news from the rest of the world, Guyana intensifies border defenses as tensions in neighboring Venezuela escalate.
Trump links Greenland threat to Nobel Peace Prize snub.
In sports, Afghanistan batters West Indies in first T20 International in Dubai.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the board of NCB has announced the appointment of Sheree Martin as interim CEO, making her the first woman to hold the position. We'll hear from NCB Jamaica's chairman, Robert Almeida.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, are you concerned about Donald Trump's behavior on the international scene? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, should companies have social media policies, and how far should they go in regulating employee conduct in the digital space? We'll get perspectives from marketing strategist Joel Numdurkam and principal consultant at Employment Matters Caribbean, Carla Ann Harris-Roper.
At 7, a deadly ritual, the Kevin Smith story. It's another Nationwide documentary.
Also in the third hour, legendary Jamaican musician Stephen Cat Core has died at age 69.
I'm Mr. Reggae Ambassador. Whoa, 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 yeah. I'm Mr. Reggae Ambassador.
The Culture and Entertainment Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange will join us. All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, RevaNews.ai, and on the Reva News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, January 19, 2026.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has approved a disbursement of $450 million for Jamaica. The funds are intended to further help with the economic pressures caused by last October's passage of Hurricane Melissa. In a statement last Friday, the IMF said its executive board approved the disbursement under the Rapid Financing Instruments (RFI) Large Natural Disaster Window. The funding is equivalent to approximately 65 billion Jamaican dollars. The IMF says it's intended to help meet immediate balance of payments needs stemming from the destruction caused by the hurricane. It stressed that Jamaica's strong track record of economic reforms has created buffers that are proving invaluable in addressing the economic fallout and reconstruction needs. Still, the IMF says the widespread damage caused by the hurricane, together with the resulting fiscal pressures and sharp decline in tourism receipts, have generated a sizable balance of payments need in the short term. The government had estimated that Hurricane Melissa had caused over $1 trillion in physical damage. In December, the government announced a major reconstruction package of $6.7 billion over 3 years, designed to strengthen recovery and reconstruction efforts in the aftermath of the hurricane. The funds were facilitated through the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank Group, the IMF, and the World Bank Group. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, has asked the 7-member jury to send Constable Noel Maitland to prison and reject his strategy to deny, deflect, and dismiss in the murder and disappearance of his girlfriend, social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson. Calling the case a jigsaw puzzle, DPP Thompson urged the jurors to assess the circumstantial evidence and look beyond the absence of a body and an eyewitness. She says every strand of evidence leads back to one man, Noel Maitland. Robin Williams has the details.
This was a circumstantial evidence case. That was how Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson framed the Crown's closing arguments in the murder trial of Noel Maitland. She reminded jurors that from the start the prosecution warned that no single piece of evidence would stand alone, but she says Noel Maitland's strategy has been to deny and to deflect. The DPP told the jury that over 8 months, the Crown has worked to prove that Donnelly Donaldson was murdered, that she died at the behest of or the hands of Maitland, and that she was not lawfully buried. The prosecution traced the timeline beginning July 11, 2022, when Donaldson was picked up from her mother's home. Her mother, Sophia Lugg, testified that Maitland picked her up, a fact Maitland later confirmed in his unsworn statement. After Donnelly left the safety of her home, the court was told she was never seen again. On July 12, when calls at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. went unanswered, her mother became concerned. A friend testified she spoke with Donnelly around 1 p.m. and heard the sound of traffic. The Crown suggested that even inside Maitland's apartment, traffic noise could be heard because of its proximity to the road. Thompson told jurors, "We are saying Donnelly was still there." She recalled testimony that Maitland broke down crying when the friend asked about Donnelly. She asked, "What was he bawling about? Could it be that he knew something that they didn't know about at the time?" She challenged Maitland's account that Donnelly left after 10 that morning, pointing instead to cyberforensic evidence placing her there after 1 p.m. She highlighted call records noting that on July 12, Maitland made 22 calls and rang Donnelly only once at 7:11 p.m., not from the banger phone his father later handed over, but from an iPhone that was never produced in court. She said the iPhone grew legs and it disappeared. DPP Thompson pointed out that it was Donaldson's friend, not Maitland, the policeman, who suggested reporting Donnelly missing. While the mother and friend were searching, the Crown said Maitland was focused on one thing, getting rid of his settee. The Crown rejected Maitland's claim that he had a pre-arranged appointment at the car wash to clean his settee, noting that the car wash attendant mentioned none. Recalling the witness's account of a raw odor, DPP Thompson asked rhetorically, "You know what blood smell like?" The DPP said Maitland cleaned not only the couch but also his car. Turning to Maitland's neighbor's evidence, Thompson rejected Maitland's suggestion that the man was biased because of his lifestyle. She said, "Maitland expects you to apply the way how Jamaicans feel about homosexuality to the neighbor's testimony. The way you may feel about homosexuality is what him trying to trigger. He was pressuring the man. Why would you want footage of you entering your yard to be deleted?" She continued, "This man, who him play Bujubant and Bombay by about, him lock up in the man apartment, him lock up in him apartment, and they must have been close. Can I say shoulder to shoulder? And then you going to come here and talk about the man lifestyle. Put it where it belongs, in the garbage bin." At this point, there were stifled laughter in the courtroom. She pointed to call patterns on July 13. When he removed the couch, Maitland made 22 calls and none to Donnelly. On July 15, he made over 50 calls, again, none to her. The Crown closed its case by urging jurors to see what it says is obvious: that Donnelly left her home alive, entered Noel Maitland's world, and was never seen again. Robianne Williams for Nationwide News.
Now at least 3 local attorneys are cautioning the Holness administration against abolishing jury trials. Instead, they're calling for reforms to strengthen and modernize the jury trial system. The attorneys Matthew Hyatt, Jacqueline Cummings, and Anne-Marie Furtado Richards were guests on the Jamaicans for Justice JFJ produced show Let's Talk Justice on Monday. Shalois Michael reports.
The call for judge-alone trials was again brought to the fore by the country's Chief Justice Brian Sykes. Speaking at the opening for the Hillary term of the judicial year earlier this month, Sykes lamented that the dependence on jury trials continues to create backlog in the justice system. Speaking in Parliament last Tuesday, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck proposed a solution. The minister says a joint select committee will be established to examine whether jury trials should continue to be a feature of the court system. But speaking on Let's Talk Justice on Monday, Attorney-at-Law Jacqueline Cummings says that idea is the wrong fix.
12 or 7 persons is the best way to know whether one person is telling the truth or not. And when jurors retire to determine, the collective wisdom is usually better than a single person. We have a cultural propensity for delay, and that is the reason why we have had this backlog develop in our courts. And it is increasing now with this chokehold that the executive has placed on the judiciary, whereby a guilty plea, you don't get a lesser sentence than guilty plea in certain circumstances.
Fellow Attorney-at-Law Anne-Marie Furtado Richards agrees. Mrs. Richards, who is also chair of the Criminal Practice Committee at the Jamaican Bar Association, is instead proposing an expansion of the eligibility pool to serve as a juror.
Doing away with the jury system is not going to alleviate those issues. So what we are saying is that the persons who are qualified to become jurors, you can expand that. Also, we hear about the whole thing about civic duty. Persons are more easily willing to shy away from doing their civic duty. So again, introduction of civics in the primary level of school so that kids, when they grow up, they don't think of it as a burden, but rather that they're doing something for their country.
As it is now, serious crimes such as murder, rape, arson, and wounding with intent are all tried by a jury. Minister Chuck has proposed an increase in the stipend for jurors to further attract more people to jury service. Attorney-at-Law Matthew Hyatt believes the Joint Select Committee should think of other suggestions to overhaul rather than remove jury trials.
I'm in fear that the Parliament may meet, and yes, we may have a select committee set, and they may very well decide that, okay, to have this backlog cleared, we will just abolish the jury system. I welcome the increase, but it has to be a balancing exercise. You're not there to earn, really, but it is also part of your civic duty. But from 2,000, 6,000 per day, it is most welcome. I'm pretty sure the Minister and the Joint Select Committee will think of other avenues to ensure that potential jurors are in the court.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
The National Commercial Bank NCB has announced the appointment of Cherie Martin as interim chief executive officer following the departure of Bruce Bowen from the top job. Bowen will leave the organization effective February 28, 2026. In a statement on Monday, the bank says Bowen will proceed on vacation leave ahead of his departure. The bank says the leadership transition aligns with its commitment to strong governance, continuity, and disciplined execution. With Bowen's departure, Martin becomes the first woman to lead NCB. Her appointment means for the first time the country's two major commercial banks are led by women. Scotiabank Jamaica is currently led by Audrey Tugwell Henry. NCB says Martin brings more than 15 years of senior leadership experience in the financial services sector. It says she has deep expertise in strategy, execution, and organizational transformation, as well as senior level experience in the energy sector. Since assuming the role of Chief Operating Officer, the bank said she has overseen several of its most critical operational and technology functions, and has played a key role in strengthening execution, discipline, operational resilience, and performance consistency across the organization. The board emphasized that the leadership transition reflects continuity and stability as the bank moves from a period of stabilization into its next phase of sustainable growth.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is
14 minutes after 5.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Continuing the news, more than 100 police personnel in the St. Catherine South Police Division have been trained to use body-worn cameras. That's according to Commanding Officer for the division, Senior Superintendent Leighton Gray. He made the disclosure at a virtual town hall meeting on Sunday.
I must say that 143 persons in our division have been trained, and we have over 50 body-worn camera that we continue to use. So when the perception is that we are not using body-worn camera and so forth, I must say that St. Catherine South is well ahead, and there are other divisions across the country that have been utilizing body-worn camera to good effect, and we will continue to ensure that other persons are so trained.
SSP Leighton Gray. Last Monday, the JCF confirmed that it had received an additional 1,000 body-worn cameras. It says the procurement was completed in the fourth quarter of last year. The cost of the cameras plus supporting technology came in at just under $200 million. The force says the devices, the Axon Body Camera 3, are now being deployed across various police formations. According to the JCF, the rollout is being guided by operational need, training readiness, and established governance protocols.
The Clarendon Police say their mission for 2026 is to record fewer than 50 murders across the division. Commanding Officer for the division, Senior Superintendent of Police Shane McCullough, called on the church to lend their support. He was speaking at a divisional church service in the parish on Sunday.
As we move into 2026, our mission is Mission Sub 50, to continue that trend where the parish of Clarendon records under 50, to keep murders under 50, and to reduce all major crimes in the parish. So what do we need in this venture from the church, from the community? We need and encourage you to continue standing with the police, praying with us, and working together to make the vision a reality.
Up to December last year, the parish recorded a 43% reduction in murders. SSP McCullough says the division ended the year recording 41 murders.
Last year, I asked, as a part of my delivery to the church, that listen, we in Clarendon, we need, as part of our crime plan, the continuous divine intervention. Some persons might have found it funny at the time, but it is my belief that where we are today, where the division recorded 41 murders as compared to 69 in 2024, and compare it over the last 10 years, it's the first the division has seen that type of reduction.
Senior Superintendent of Police Shane McCullough, head of the Clarendon Police Division. Last year's decline marked the second consecutive year in which murders in the division fell below 100.
Meanwhile, outgoing Area 3 Commander Assistant Commissioner Calvin Allen praised the Clarendon Division for their performance.
It must never be understated. It is a phenomenal performance for a division, a parish such as Clarendon, to have recorded 41 murders with a 41% reduction. I am applauding the effort of SSP McCullough and the men and women.
Area 3 comprises the parishes of Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Clarendon. According to ACP Allen, the performance of the divisions across Area 3 was remarkable. He gave an update on the performance of the area for the first 16 days of 2026.
Within the first 16 days, Area 3, we have removed 10 illegal guns from the streets of criminals. And that is coupled with over 150 rounds of ammunition. St. Elizabeth has recovered 4 of them. Manchester has recovered 4. And Clarendon recovered 2 so far. 10 illegal guns off the street. And we are sending the clearest of message that we really don't play around with our oath of office.
Assistant Commissioner Calvin Allen.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Guyana has stepped up its border security after recent political unrest in neighboring Venezuela. This was disclosed by the country's Prime Minister Brigadier Mark Phillips on Sunday. He says the Guyana Defense Force has long maintained deployments along the borders with Venezuela, Suriname, and Brazil. But the Prime Minister says the recent events in Venezuela has prompted an immediate shift to an even higher state of readiness. Prime Minister Phillips was referring to the capture of former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by the U.S. on January 3 this year. He adds that the government has intensified monitoring and coordination with regional authorities, especially along the western frontier. Phillips says improved internet connectivity has also helped local communities remain informed about regional developments.
U.S. President Donald Trump has linked his push to take control of Greenland to his failure to win the Nobel Peace Prize. The Norwegian Nobel Committee awarded last year's prize to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. On Monday, Trump said he no longer thought purely of peace as the row over the island threatened to ignite a trade war with Europe. The U.S. president reiterated his threat to hit European nations with tariffs if a deal is not reached. On Saturday, Trump announced a 10% import tax starting February on goods from 8 nations that have rallied around Denmark and Greenland. The move has prompted the European Union to weigh hitting back with its own measures. The dispute threatens to upend the NATO alliance and has underpinned Western security for decades. EU leaders will discuss options at an emergency summit in Brussels on Thursday.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Director of Public Prosecutions tells the jury to reject Noel Maitland's strategy of deflection and denial.
In her closing arguments, she urges the jury to send the policeman to prison for murdering his girlfriend Donnelly Donaldson.
There's been a major leadership change at NCB Jamaica.
3 attorneys cautioning government against abolishing jury trials.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
You can find the news on our website at rivernews.ai and on the River News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
The time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Need to make make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The West Indies suffered a 38-run defeat to Afghanistan in the first of their 3 T20 international series in Dubai on Monday, as debutant Quinton Sampson marked his first game for the Caribbean team in a losing effort. Batting first, Afghanistan, they posted a strong 181 for 3 from their 20 overs, their highest score against the West Indies. The Afghans slumped to 19 for 2 at one stage, before a brilliant third wicket stand of 162 between Ibrahim Zadran with an unbeaten 87 and a fluent 84 by Darwish Rasuli powered them to their highest score against the West Indies, as I mentioned. In reply, the Windies were unable to keep pace with the required run rate and were restricted to 143 for 9. Sampson top scored at 30 on debut, showing composure under pressure, while Johnson Charles contributed 27. Gudakesh Modi, he made it 28, and Matthew Ford chipped in with 25, but none of the batsmen were able to convert their starts into a match-winning innings. Despite the disappointment of the defeat, Sampson says he valued the experience of making his international debut.
Yeah, it was a great experience, you know, rubbing shoulder with a lot of senior players that, you know, grew up looking at playing cricket. You know, it was a good feeling to me, you know, just to be around them, learn new things from them.
Having said that, he said the batting unit should have performed much better. And we move on. The Jamaica and the Windward Islands will clash in just over 30 minutes from now in their latest game at the Cricket West Indies, the Women's T20 Blaze at the Arnorsville Field in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Jamaicans are winless in their 3 starts so far at the tournament, and they're basically out of contention for a place in Friday's final. Meanwhile, the Leeward Islands booked their place in the final with a 31-run win over Barbados on Monday. The Leewards, who have won all 4 of their games so far at the tournament, they posted 118 for 9 and then restricted the Bajans to 87 for 9. While Trinidad and Tobago, they registered an 8-wicket win over champions Guyana to improve their chances of getting into the final. Mullines United and Tivoli Gardens, they are 1-1 at the moment at Sports Time in their Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League game over at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Nicholas Nelson gave the Mullines United team the lead on 5 minutes, but of course the Tivoli team came roaring back through Daniel Watson, who drew them level just 2 minutes later. Tivoli Gardens, they're currently on 22 points and can join Chappleton Maroons in 4th if they win this game tonight. Mullines, they're on 17 points and they're aiming to get back into the top 10. The late game will see Arnett Gardens battling Waterhouse at 7:30. The St. Catherine base Racing United, they played out a 1-1 draw with the Dunby Holding in the St. Catherine Derby on Sunday, and the coach Anthony Patrick says getting a number 9 in the January transfer window is still his number 1 priority.
It's not about me as a coach. You know, I make recommendation, we get players, but it's up to the owners. The owners make the decision. They have to dig deep in their pocket to come up to get those players in. You know, I make all the recommendation, make contact with all the players and things, but it's still not getting there. Well, when you look at we have young away with their school teams doing very, very well. And, you know, I have Nikhil Ellis away too. So there are 2 key players missing from the unit today as 2 youngsters, but I'm definitely still have some more youngsters too.
The racing team, they're still second in the standings at the moment on 33 points. They're 3 behind leaders Montego Bay United, but Patrick says he's still not satisfied with what he's getting from the players.
As I said to the players, I'm still not pleased. Some of them going through the motion, I'm still not pleased. No, what? You talk about rotation, and when you rotate and you give people game to express themselves, you know, you're not getting it. So that's a main downfall. But definitely, I think we're on the right path, we're on the right track, we are doing well. We just have to continue. We still have some more youngsters to come in, and hopefully them can, you know, whenever I start the rotation again, them can come in and fill those gaps.
Members of the national senior men's football team, they're back on the island after beating Grenada by a goal to nil in their international friendly on Sunday at the Kirani James Stadium in St. George's, Grenada. Tivoli Gardens frontman Nicolia Fuller, he scored his maiden international goal and it came with 9 minutes remaining in the game. Interim head coach of the Jamaica team, that's Rudolph Speed, says he's still looking to get at least one more warm-up game before the team goes into the Interconfederation Cup playoff in Mexico in March.
To get another game also to see more players before we go final deliberations to be this quarter to be in March 26th and 31st.
And of course, Speed was taking charge of the team for the first time in his new role, says the contest provided valuable preparation and gave the technical staff an insight into what the players are able to cope with at the next level.
We have been the number one team in the Caribbean for a long period. Our ego has been bruised. People believe that we are right for the picking now. So they're going to come after us. And I think I really appreciate the effort that Grenada put out. Thanks to them. They give us a hard time. It's something that we need going into the qualifiers. So it was a welcome match. And I wouldn't have wanted it any other way except for them to fight us very hard, and they did.
That's interim head coach of the national senior football team, Rudolph Speed. Jamaica will take on New Caledonia on March 26 in Monterrey, Mexico. And the winner of that game will go on to play DR Congo for a spot at the FIFA World Cup later on this year in Mexico, USA, and Canada. At sports, we're going to be back with much more in our major sportscast at 6:05 this evening.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:31.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hackley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Commercial spaces for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. Improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
UDC for you.
Managing your investments with Sagicor is now easy as ever. You can fund stocks, repos, and do more seamlessly. Even get a clear overview of your portfolio performance on the enhanced Sagicor eBank platform. Want to experience effortless investment banking on Sagicor eBank? It's as easy as ever. Contact your Sagicor Investment Wealth Advisor today and update your personal information for access. Call 888-SAGICOR or visit sagicor.com for more information.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Cliff Says is by far the most popular mid-morning radio segment in Jamaica. Cliff Hughes shares his views on the hot-button topics of the day, editorializing on various issues in the news, breaking news stories, and expounding on stories. Cliff Says sets the tone of the show for the rest of the day. Join the award-winning journalist Cliff Hughes weekdays during Cliff Hughes Online at 10 to 10:30 a.m. Join the revolution in media.
Every day, Jamaicans have something to say. In the group chats, on social media, in the streets, there's a place where it all comes together. The comment section. This is not a lecture. This is not a call-in show. This is the hottest topics of the day, filtered through real opinions, real WhatsApp messages, real voice notes, real reactions. You agree, disagree, sound off, text it, voice note it, debate it. Comments section, Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 on January 20 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the 21st Regional Investments and Capital Markets Conference at the Jamaica Pegasus. Discover opportunities and build connections that shape your future under the theme Capital Markets Fueling Economic Resurgence and Resilience. Hear from Jamaica's Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Finance Minister Fable Williams, and more. Seats are limited, so register now at jamstockx.com or call 876-967-3271. That's the 21st Regional Investments and Capital Markets Conference at the Jamaica Pegasus. Tune in to Nationwide at 5, Tuesday, January 20, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Or catch our broadcast live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. Keep your station on Nationwide 90 FM. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Stock Exchange and Jamaica Broilers.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Save fast and accepted in more locations.
Multilink. Access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink. 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink. 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Monday afternoon and Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, listeners. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks.
Hello.
You all right?
I'm all right.
Good. Well, one of the country's largest commercial banks, NCB, National Commercial Bank, has announced the appointment of a woman, Cherie Martin, as its interim Chief Executive Officer. This following the departure of Bruce Bowen from the top job. Bowen will leave NCB effective February 28, 2026.
Now, in a statement today, the bank says Bowen will proceed on vacation leave ahead of his departure. It says the leadership transition aligns with its commitment to strong governance, continuity, and disciplined execution. With Bowen's departure, Martin becomes the first woman to lead NCB.
Her appointment means, for the first time, the country's two major, largest commercial banks are being led by women. Scotiabank Jamaica is currently being led by Audrey Tugwell Henry. NCB says Cherie Martin brings more than 15 years of senior leadership experience in the financial services sector.
It says she has deep expertise in strategy execution and organizational transformation, as well as senior level experience in the energy sector. Since assuming the role of Chief Operating Officer, her substantive role before this appointment, the bank said she has overseen several of its most critical operational and technology functions.
It says Cherie Martin has also played a key role in strengthening execution discipline, operational resilience, and performance consistency across the organization. The board emphasized that the leadership transition reflects continuity and stability as NCB moves from a period of stabilization into its next phase of sustainable growth.
To discuss further, we're being joined by NCB Jamaica's chairman and CEO of NCB Financial Group, Robert Almeida. Good afternoon, Mr. Almeida.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Why this sudden shift at bank?
I used the word sudden. So, about 2.5 years ago it was now. Around 2.5 years ago, I stepped into the role of NCB Financial Group CEO, and Bruce came on and joined us. Came back kind of from banking retirement at least to help us because the institution was in need of a turnaround, and so that was about 2.5 years ago. Late last year, at the end of the fiscal year, I announced and communicated to folks we were done the turnaround, and we had now entered the phase of a transition, kind of like a bubble year, if you will, a transition year where we need to execute on the strategies that came out of the turnaround, at the same time that we have to kind of get prepared for look ahead, look further down the field, and get ready for that. For those future seasons, if you will. We have to execute and finish out this season, and we have to get ready for the next season. And that was kind of what Bruce and I were working on. And then the timing just became right for him to say that now is now would be the time for him to pursue his other interests. It could have happened now, it could have happened later, but I'd say it was. Things have to match for all parties, and it worked out that now was the right time. But we were in that phase, so I wouldn't say that it was very sudden. I would say that we were in that phase, but the exact timing just turned out to be right for right now.
How amicable was the separation?
Oh, very amicable. Yeah, no, Bruce has been great to work with. I've worked very closely with Bruce over the last 2.5 years. I think we've kind of counted on each other, and so it's very, very amicable.
So you can assure your customers and stakeholders this afternoon is what you're saying, that this is not disruption.
That's the exact. You chose a perfect word as I'm communicating internally. I'm saying sometimes you make changes happen that are intended. They are disruptive for a variety of reasons, and there are other changes. Change is a constant in life, and there are other changes that are just change because evolution has to happen, and this would be more that. It is not disruption in any way. This is evolution running its course.
And why Cherie Martin?
Just before you go to Cherie, just before you leave, Mr. Boyne, you said he was brought in to turn around NCB. Yes? What are those indicators that he has turned around NCB?
Oh, so if you take a look at our overall group, I mean, there was we were in a state at the NCB Financial Group level, which is obviously driven by Guardian and by NCB, the bank. And while NCB and Guardian, from a capital perspective, came out of COVID very strong, the organization has never compromised on strength, safety, and soundness. Having said that, profitability was very low, and equity was actually consolidated equity was actually declining, and debt was growing. And the operational control side, we'd be experiencing various types of operational risks in the business. So we needed to tighten up the controls. So if you take a look at our overall performance, profitability has turned around. Our margins are restoring back towards pre-COVID levels. We're not quite back at pre-COVID levels, but we're getting closer to pre-COVID levels. And so we're on that track to get ourselves back to pre-COVID levels. And you could look at our net interest margins. You can look at our deposit growth. Our deposits are at record levels right now. So you could look at, and then most importantly, you could look at the internal control environment. Our various operational risk indicators are all much better than they were a couple of years ago. And so it's the internal control environment combined with with margin discipline and cost discipline. We still have improvement to go. Like I said, we're accelerating through the execute phase right now, so we've got to keep our heads down and execute. But it is more of that, keep our heads down and execute, while we also start looking out longer term.
We're up on the time. Should we take the break? Let's take the break and come back with more.
Order Pizza Hut online at pizzahutjamaica.com or through WhatsApp at 876-837-4488. Pizza Hut, now that's delivery. The time by Pizza Hut is
15 minutes to 6.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift that keeps on giving. Speed Queen washers and dryers from Singer. Speed Queen appliances are built to last, providing you with reliable performance and efficient cleaning season after season. And for a limited time only, receive free laundry basket and Woolite detergent with your Speed Queen purchase from Singer. This Christmas, get 6 months to pay the cash price, 12 months no interest, and up to 24 months credit. Visit Singer today and get the ultimate laundry solution. Merry Christmas from Singer.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-Link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-Link?
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's the cover story. Our guest, the chairman of NCB Jamaica, the CEO of NCB Financial Group, Robert Almeida. Major leadership change. Bruce Bowen leaves the bank. Sherry Martin assumes the role of interim CEO. Mr. Almeida, you said going forward, execution will be key. Why is Sherry Martin the right person to lead that effort?
Sherry has probably a unique combination. So first of all, let me start by saying the whole executive team is actually quite strong. So one of the things we have is the luxury of going through this phase in a very orderly manner. And secondly, we also have the ability, we have the benefit of the luxury of choice. What makes Sherry best for this particular role, this particular assignment, is one part, she's got like a very strong history within NCB. She's worked in a number of different capacities, so she has a great appreciation of the breadth of the business. In her most recent focus, Sherry had the role of COO, so a big, strong focus on operations and improving operational quality and execution. We call it brilliant at the basics. And Sherry has been leading that part of the initiative. And so the combination of she's kind of like NCB in her DNA, the breadth of experience she's had in retail, commercial, marketing, and most recently operations and IT. So she's got a covers the broad spectrum of the businesses, the business areas, and been focusing very much on execution for the last couple of years in the role of COO.
So why an interim appointment? Why not show the ultimate sign of confidence and fully appoint her to the post?
I'm going to use a sports analogy for you. So I mentioned we have the luxury of time, and we have a job to do right now. So there is a mission that needs to be executed. We're like in the middle of a sports season, and you want to go through it. You want to go through the playoffs, and you want to win the finals. You want a Super Bowl time. You want to win the Super Bowl. So we have to execute on that. And then, a part of that sports organization then is looking out at the future seasons and saying, the world is changing on us. It's a very dynamic world. We're also committed to meeting global standards. So the board won't limit its considerations to the internal candidates, but it will actually take the opportunity to consider what does the organization really need for the longer term, and what is most appropriate for that. So we have the luxury of following a more robust process, if you will, taking a proper good look, and the board will do a robust selection assessment and selection process in parallel, while we as management, or the management of NCB, focuses on execution, and as I said, completing out this season and making sure that we win the trophy at the end of this season.
So you're not sure Cherie Martin is a woman for all seasons?
When I took on my role, I said, the actual length tenure of any CEO is something you have to match the right horse for the right course, and that's always something in a dynamic world that is changing. So it's nothing about Cherie, but it does say that you have to look at the world and say, as the world is evolving, when you look out further and you look at what are the risks, what are the trends, what are the opportunities, and we want to make sure that we make the most optimal decision. And for that reason, organizations with good governance, which is what we have also upped our game on governance, actually, would take the time to do that and say, let's make sure we're making a fully optimal longer term decision, because we don't really have in the short term, medium term, we have to make sure we execute the plan that's already in place.
Speaking of good governance, Robert, where's NCB under Bowen and before and now, where Basel III is concerned, in terms of the global regulatory standards that you are all committed to achieving?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different parts to it. So in the Basel III, there's the financial parts to it. So we've been at that for a number of years, and we're very well positioned. We report our capital ratios. We, in parallel systems, we've been operating in Basel Basel 1, 2, and Basel 3 for the last 2-3 years. So we're in really good shape from the financial numeric side. I'd say where we are in really good shape, but it's not nearly as visible, or at least people don't have an appreciation of it, is all the changes we've been making. You would have seen actually an article recently on board composition, and there are changes required in board composition within financial groups, and one of the references there was that we had already made all of those, if not all, we've made the most of those changes. So we eliminated the mirror boards between NCB Financial Group and NCBJ. We strengthened the banking competency and the risk management competency at NCBJ. We brought on Roger Blissett, who's a global banker. We brought on David Roberts, who's an IT person, and Alison Filbert, who's at the bridge of that, former CEO with Digicel, and then with Verizon. I think it was Verizon, one of the largest telecom companies in the U.S. So a combination of operations, IT, and general management. So the board is strengthened, the policies are strengthened, the layering of governance between NCB Financial Group and NCB the bank, so that we get not just a double check, but we get a triple and a quadruple check on the organization. All of that has happened over the last couple of years, and we're probably like I said, that one article just referenced that most financial groups will have to go through some changes in their boardrooms, and that we were ahead of the curve on that.
This comes at a time when there's a lot of focus and scrutiny on the largest shareholder of NCB, Michael Leachin, given his other problems. What do you say to your customers, your NCB customers, who are a little skittish at the moment? You're going to change at this moment when there's that focus on Michael Leachin?
Well, one of the best things of having Michael Leachin as the majority shareholder, or the majority ultimate beneficial owner, is that Michael has always recognized the importance of the institution of national NCB Financial Group, and in particular NCB the bank, along with Guardian on the core operating insurance side, that those regulated financial institutions, the deposit-taking entity, the broker-dealer, the life insurance company, that they have to be exceptionally strong. And so first and foremost, make those institutions strong, and then that presents the foundation of overall having a good financial return and building a business for the long term. So the good news here is that the institutions are strong and operate with a very strong governance process, and most of that was under the visionary leadership that Michael brought to the business.
But can you say to the Jamaican people listening to the NCB customers that the end of the tenure of Bruce Bowen at this time has absolutely nothing to do with those other issues?
Yeah, no, it absolutely has nothing to do with those issues. Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Robert Almeida, chairman of, is it chairman? What's
NCB
it?
Jamaica and CEO of the financial group. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
have a good one.
Good.
Yeah, we should also tell the listeners in the 5 minutes we have left, the Noel Maitland murder trial is drawing to a close. The prosecution rested finally today, made their closing arguments. We expect the defense to be up to bat tomorrow, and then the judge, of course, will begin his summation. So the matter could be sent to the jury by the end of the week. The DPP today telling the jurors, as Robian reported, that they should reject Constable Maitland's pattern, she says, of denial and deflection.
Yes.
And they should send him to prison because all the strands of evidence, though they're standing by themselves, as you'd recall, there's no body, there's no eyewitness. She says the strands of evidence stand by themselves and they point to one man, Maitland.
And she admitted that this is a case based on circumstantial evidence.
Yes, a jigsaw, she called it.
Right. Here's Robian Williams' report.
This was a circumstantial evidence case. That was how Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson framed the Crown's closing arguments in the murder trial of Noel Maitland. She reminded jurors that from the start the prosecution warned that no single piece of evidence would stand alone, but she says Noel Maitland's strategy has been to deny and to deflect. The DPP told the jury that over 8 months, the Crown has worked to prove that Donnelly Donaldson was murdered, that she died at the behest of or the hands of Maitland, and that she was not lawfully buried. The prosecution traced the timeline beginning July 11, 2022, when Donaldson was picked up from her mother's home. Her mother, Sophia Lugg, testified that Maitland picked her up, a fact Maitland later confirmed in his unsworn statement. After Donnelly left the safety of her home, the court was told she was never seen again. On July 12, when calls at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. went unanswered, her mother became concerned. A friend testified she spoke with Donnelly around 1 p.m. and heard the sound of traffic. The Crown suggested that even inside Maitland's apartment, traffic noise could be heard because of its proximity to the road. Thompson told jurors, "We are saying Donnelly was still there." She recalled testimony that Maitland broke down crying when the friend asked about Donnelly. She asked, "What was he bawling about? Could it be that he knew something that they didn't know about at the time?" She challenged Maitland's account that Donnelly left after 10 that morning, pointing instead to cyber-forensic evidence placing her there after 1 p.m. She highlighted call records noting that on July 12, Maitland made 22 calls and rang Donnelly only once at 7:11 p.m., not from the banger phone his father later handed over, but from an iPhone that was never produced in court. She said the iPhone grew legs and it disappeared. DPP Thompson pointed out that it was Donaldson's friend, not Maitland, the policeman, who suggested reporting Donnelly missing. While the mother and friend were searching, the Crown said Maitland was focused on one thing, getting rid of his settee. The Crown rejected Maitland's claim that he had a pre-arranged appointment at the car wash to clean his settee, noting that the car wash attendant mentioned none. Recalling the witness's account of a raw odor, DPP Thompson asked rhetorically, "You know what blood smell like?" The DPP said Maitland cleaned not only the couch but also his car. Turning to Maitland's neighbors, Evidence Thompson rejected Maitland's suggestion that the man was biased because of his lifestyle. She said, Maitland expects you to apply the way how Jamaicans feel about homosexuality to the neighbor's testimony. The way you may feel about homosexuality is what him trying to trigger. He was pressuring the man. Why would you want footage of you entering your yard to be deleted? She continued, this man who him play Bujubant and Bombay by about, him lock up in the man apartment, him lock up in him apartment, and they must have been close. Can I say shoulder to shoulder? And then you going to come here and talk about the man lifestyle. Put it where it belongs, in the garbage bin. At this point, there was stifled laughter in the courtroom. She pointed to call patterns on July 13. When he removed the couch, Maitland made 22 calls and none to Donnelly. On July 15, he made over 50 calls, again, none to her. The Crown closed its case by urging jurors to see what it says is obvious. That Donnelly left her home alive, entered Noel Maitland's world, and was never seen again. Roby Ann Williams for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Roby. And quite a closing by the new DPP.
Yes. So we'll hear what the defense has to say, and once they lay out their defense, we'll bring that to you. Yeah? 6 o'clock. Headlines time.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management. So the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has approved a disbursement of $415 million for Jamaica. The funds are intended to further help with economic pressures caused by last October's passage of Hurricane Melissa. In a statement last Friday, the IMF said its executive board approved the disbursement under the Rapid Financing Instruments RFI Large Natural Disaster Window. The funding is equivalent to approximately 65 billion Jamaican dollars. The IMF says it's intended to help meet immediate balance of payments needs stemming from the destruction caused by the hurricane. It stressed that Jamaica's strong track record of economic reforms has created buffers that are proving invaluable in addressing the economic fallout and reconstruction needs. Still, the IMF says the widespread damage caused by the hurricane, together with the resulting fiscal pressures and a sharp decline in tourism receipts, have generated a sizable balance of payments need in the short term. At least 3 local attorneys are cautioning the Holness administration against abolishing jury trials. Instead, they're calling for reforms to strengthen and modernize the jury trial system. The attorneys, Matthew Hyatt, Jacqueline Cummings, and Anne-Marie Furtado Richards were guests on the Jamaicans for Justice JFJ produced show Let's Talk Justice on Monday. The call for judge-alone trials was again brought to the fore by the country's Chief Justice Brian Sykes. Speaking at the opening for the Hillary term of the judicial year earlier this month, Sykes lamented that the dependence on jury trials continues to create backlog in the justice system. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck proposed a solution. The minister says a joint select committee will be established to examine whether jury trials should continue to be a feature of the court system. But speaking on Let's Talk Justice on Monday, Attorney at Law Jacqueline Cummins says that idea is the wrong fix.
12 or 7 persons is the best way to know whether one person is telling the truth or not. And when jurors retire to determine, the collective wisdom is usually better than a single person. We have a cultural propensity for delay. And that is the reason why we have had this backlog develop in our courts. And it is increasing now with this chokehold that the executive has placed on the judiciary, whereby a guilty plea, you don't get a lesser sentence for guilty plea in circumstances.
Fellow Attorney at Law Anne-Marie Furtado Richards agrees. Mrs. Richards, who is also chair of the Criminal Practice Committee at the Jamaica Bar Association, is instead proposing an expansion of the eligibility pool to serve as a juror.
Doing away with the jury system is not going to alleviate those issues. So what we are saying is that the persons who are qualified to become jurors, you can expand that. Also, we hear about the whole thing about civic duty. Persons are more easily willing to shy away from doing their civic duty. So again, introduction of civics in the primary level of school so that kids, when they grow up, they don't think of it as a burden, but rather that they're doing something for their country.
As it is now, serious crimes such as murder, rape, arson, and wounding with intent are all tried by a jury. The National Commercial Bank, NCB, has announced the appointment of Cherie Martin as Interim Chief Executive Officer following the departure of Bruce Bowen from the top job. Bowen will leave the organization effective February 28, 2026. In a statement on Monday, the bank says Bowen will proceed on vacation leave ahead of his departure. The bank says the leadership transition aligns with its commitment to strong governance, continuity, and disciplined execution. With Bowen's departure, Martin becomes the first woman to lead NCB. Her appointment means for the first time the country's 2 major commercial banks are led by women. Scotiabank is currently led by Audrey Tugwell Henry. NCB says Martin brings more than 15 years of senior leadership experience in the financial services sector. It says she has deep expertise in strategy execution and organizational transformation, as well as senior level experience in the energy sector. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Need
Ready to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Raby. We bowl things off with some cricket as the West Indies suffered a 38-run defeat against Afghanistan in the first T20 International in Dubai on Monday as debutant Quinton Sampson marked his first appearance for the Caribbean side in a losing cause. Batting first, Afghanistan posted a strong 181 for 3 from their 20 overs. The Afghans slumped to 19 for 2 at one stage before a brilliant third wicket stand of 162 between Ibrahim Zadran with an unbeaten 87 and a fluent 84 by Doris Razuli powered them to their highest score against the West Indies. In reply, the Windies were unable to keep pace with the required run rate and were restricted to 143 for 9. Sampson top scored with 30 on debut, showing composure under pressure, while Johnson Charles contributed 27. Gudakesh Modi added 28 and Matthew Ford chipped in with 25, but none of the batsmen were able to convert their starts into a match-winning innings. Despite the disappointment of the defeat, Sampson says he valued the experience of making his international debut.
So we didn't did it.
However, he admitted that the batting unit could have performed better in the chase.
Because indeed they're bowling good, yeah, but it have a few loose balls that we could have capitalized on, but we didn't did it.
The teams will meet again on Wednesday in Game 2 at the same venue. Now, the Windward Islands reached a 5-for-1 in their clash against Jamaica in their latest game at the CWI Women's T20 Blades at Honest Vale in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Jamaicans are winless in their 3 games so far at the tournament and are out of contention for a place in Friday's final. Meanwhile, the Leeward Islands booked their place in the final with a 31-run win over Barbados on Monday. The Leewards, who've won all 4 of their games at the tournament so far, posted 118 for 9 and then restricted the Bajans to 87 for 9. While Trinidad and Tobago registered an 8-wicket win over champions Guyana to improve their chances of getting into the final. Now to football, as Boulogne United and Tivoli Gardens are 1-1 at sports time after 50 minutes in their Rare Never Jamaica Premier League encounter at the Tony Spalding Complex. Nicholas Nelson gave Moline the lead with just 5 minutes gone in the game, but Daniel Watson drew Tivoli level 2 minutes later. Tivoli Gardens are currently on 22 points and can join Chapter Maroons in 4th if they win, while Molines are on 17 points are aiming to get back in the top 10. The late game will see Onyx Gardens playing Waterhouse at 7:30 p.m. Head coach of Racing United, Anthony Patrick, explained that the team is still pressing to sign a centre forward in January's transfer window. The St. Catherine-based outfit played out a 1-1 draw with Dunbeholden, and Patrick says getting a number 9 in the January window is still his main priority.
It's not about me as a coach. I make recommendation. We get players, but it's up to the owners. The owners have made the decision. They have to dig deep in their pocket to come up to get those players in. I make all the recommendation, make contact with all the players and things, but it's still not getting there. Well, when you look at we have young away with their school teams doing very, very well, and I have Nikhil Ellis away too. So there are 2 key players missing from the unit today as 2 youngsters, but definitely still have some more youngsters.
Patrick added that while his team sits second, 3 points behind leaders Montego Bay United, he's still not pleased with how they have gone about business.
As I said to the players, I'm still not pleased. Some of them going through the motion, I'm still not pleased. No, what? You talk about rotation, and when you rotate and you give people game to express themselves, you're not getting it. So that's the main downfall. But definitely, I think we're on the right path, we're on the right track, we are doing well. We just have to continue. We still have some more youngsters to come in, and hopefully them can, whenever I start the rotation again, them can come in and fill those gaps.
Now, members of the national senior men's football team returned to the island on Monday after their 1-0 win over Grenada in their international friendly in St. George's on Sunday. Tivoli Gardens frontman Nikolai Fuller scored his maiden international goal in the 81st minute. Interim head coach of the Jamaica senior men's football team, Rudolph Speed, says he's hopeful of securing at least one more game before the Reggae Boys begin their Interconfederation qualifiers in March.
To get another game also to see more players before we make our final deliberations to pick the squad that will be in March 26th and 31st.
Speed, who was taking charge of his first game in his new role, says the contest provided valuable preparation and gave his technical staff a closer look at several players competing for spots.
We have been the number 1 team in the Caribbean for a long period. Our ego has been bruised. People believe that we are right for the picking now. So they're going to come after us. And I think I really appreciate the effort that Grenada put out. Thanks to them. They give us a hard time. It's something that we need going into the qualifiers. So it was a welcome match. And I wouldn't have wanted it any other way except for them to fight us very hard, and they did.
Jamaica will face New Caledonia on March 26 in Monterrey, Mexico, with the winner set to meet DR Congo for a place at the FIFA World Cup later this year. Now to track and field, as the late edition of the 400 meters proved to be a popular move at the Douglas Forest Invitational on Saturday at Stadium East, according to meet organizer Brian Smith. Smith says the decision to include the quarter mile for all classes was made just a day before the meet, following discussions with coaches and officials. Smith explained that the event was added to help fill a void on the local athletics calendar after several other meets were cancelled.
Final day, our coach called me and said, "What time can you not include the 400? And I said, "After let me see what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to lead that charge," which he did. And we had several rounds of 400, so that was very good. That's such a short space of time. So I think that's a big plus. I think another plus is that they have to keep doing what they're doing to sort of encourage the coaches and the athletes.
Brian Smith. Now to tennis, as Serbia's Novak Djokovic delivered a serving masterclass as he registered his 100th victory on day 2 of the Australian Open with a straight set win over Spain's Pedro Martinez. The world number 4, who is bidding for a standalone record 25 Grand Slam singles title, only dropped 5 points out of 57 on serve across a 2-hour exhibition of serving excellence. The 38-year-old 10-time champion only lost 1 point in each of the second and third sets en route to a 6-3, 6-2, 6-2 win.
It felt good performance-wise. The feeling on the court was great, so I couldn't ask for more. Obviously, great serving performance. Just overall felt really good on the court. That has, made me feel good on it for so many times throughout my career. So let's see what comes my way.
On the women's side, Iga Swiatek's bid to create history and complete the career Grand Slam got off to an underwhelming start as she overcame 130th ranked Yan Yi of China 7-6, 6-3. Now to rugby, as the Rugby League Jamaica Flagship Couriers National Under-19 High School Championships will reach a decisive stage on Tuesday when the semi-finals take center stage at Campion College. The opening semi-final at 1 p.m. will see St. George's College take on host school Campion College in what promises to be a tightly contested encounter. At 2:10 p.m., defending champions Calabar High will clash with Jose Marti in the second semi-final as all four teams battle for a place in the championship final. The semi-finalists have taken contrasting paths to the final four. Last Thursday, Jose Marti, playing at home, secured their semi-final berth with a convincing 26-4 victory over BB Coke. On Friday, St. George's College produced what many have called the upset of the season, edging host school Cedar Grove 14-10. At the same venue, Campion College delivered a strong performance to advance, defeating Spanish Town High 24-6. Group B top seed Calabar High progressed directly to the semifinals after receiving a bye. The championships will conclude on Friday with the third place playoff and the grand final, both scheduled to be played at Campion College. And finally, in basketball, the Jamaica Basketball Association has officially unveiled the roster for its inaugural E-National Basketball team, marking a historic entry into the global esports basketball arena. Backed by the Bob and Rita Marley Foundation, the team will represent Jamaica at the FIBA World Championships for Esports, known as eFIBA, where national pride meets digital competition. The six-player roster features Christian Benjamin, Kurt Daly, Fong Horton Richards, Derek Walcott, and Shamar Williams. Leading the squad is team manager DeAndre Forbes, tasked with guiding Jamaica's first foray into the rapidly growing world of competitive esports basketball. FIBA, long recognized for redefining basketball on a global scale, has embraced innovation with eFIBA, bringing together national federations to compose on NBA 2K26 for the coveted World Championship title. Jamaica's journey begins on January 23 in the pre-qualifiers, featuring 8 teams divided into 2 groups of 4. The round-robin stage will determine the top 3 teams from each group that advance to the regional qualifiers on February 28. The regional finals, slated for March 1, will follow a double elimination format, giving the top 4 teams 2 opportunities to secure a place in the final showdown. I'm Alex Raby, and that's your sports.
Managing your investments with Sagicor is now easy as ever. You can fund stocks, repos, and do more seamlessly. Even get a clear overview of your portfolio performance on the enhanced Sagicor eBank platform. Want to experience effortless investment banking on Sagicor eBank? It's as easy as ever. Contact your Sagicor Investment Wealth Advisor today and update your personal information for access. Call 888-SAGICOR or visit sagicor.com for more information.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
We know the recovery after Hurricane Melissa hasn't been easy. That's why Flow is here to support our customers every step of the way. Flow has been issuing rebates to customers who experienced service disruptions as part of our commitment to to doing right by you. Your bill is created automatically, so you may still receive one as usual. But if you're due a rebate, you'll see it clearly listed as an adjustment on that same bill. We encourage you to take a moment to review your statement to confirm the credited amount. And if your service is still offline because of Hurricane Melissa, rebates will continue until service is restored. Rebates are issued twice per month. If it's not reflected on your current bill, it should appear on the next bill. At Flow, our focus is on fairness, transparency, and making sure our customers feel supported. Thank you for your patience, your loyalty, and your understanding as we work to fully restore service across all affected communities.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special one to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a new week and we welcome it with open arms. So let's get to it. From fiery speeches to unpredictable diplomacy, Donald Trump's actions on the world stage continue to spark much debate well beyond the United States. Today in Public Opinion, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your views. So we're asking, are you concerned about Donald Trump's behavior on the international scene? Do you see it as strong leadership, him protecting his country and straight talking? Or does it raise fears about global stability and relations between nations? What's your view? The question we're putting to you today: are you concerned about Donald Trump's behavior on the international scene? We'll start with the comments on Facebook, where Rajay is saying, yes, he's concerned about Trump's behavior. He prioritizes America's interests in negotiations, and the con, his rhetoric can strain diplomatic relationships and create global tension. And he's saying this is not a good look. That's the view coming from Rajay. Nicola says God's time versus man's time. For George Elliott, not just his conduct on the international scene, but his approval of the Gestapo-type treatment by ICE of innocent Americans and migrants. That's according to George Elliott. Courtney Mack says, we all know what to expect from Trump, so no, I'm not surprised, nor am I concerned. David Bless, Trump doing a great job, and hope him come for all the bloggers with misinformation. Okay. Philip Jackson, yes, I'm very concerned. The fact that we have a man sitting in the highest office of the world who used his gut feeling to run that office over diplomacy and is very transactional in nature is like putting a submachine gun in the hands of a 6-year-old child. Okay. All right, coming from Philip Jackson there. Clifton Ricardo Rosa says he's not doing what other presidents haven't done. He just load and show off with it. Okay, Audley Phillips says he is erratic and irrational, to put it mildly. Remember, guys, these are the views of the people, not of Robian and Nationwide. Elarita Mitchell says, as anyone would, watching a psychotic, depraved human make irrational decisions. Prince Wellington says, no, him expose all of the cowards them. And Natalie Winter says she's watching keenly. Yeah? Not much to say, but she's watching keenly. Let me see. Cheryl Griffith says, no, him wing soon clip. All right. Yeah. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. We're putting to you, are you concerned about Donald Trump's behavior on the international scene? Going over to our Instagram platform, coming over to YouTube very shortly. Sisu Jamaica is saying, no, I am concerned about why the Republican Congress and Senate are allowing this to continue. Marshall Malik is not concerned. Bless said, KMT, which we all know as Jamaicans kiss my teeth. Antoinette says that's not controllable. While unorthodox, some of the decisions are on the best interest, or in the best interest of the country. I'm not concerned. He's doing the right thing. The things that are in best interest of his country. Novia Steele, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you can. Okay, reading us the Miranda rights right there. Kimberly is saying there are more consequential national issues that deserve attention. And she went on to list a few local, some of those consequential things, national issues. Yeah. All right. Let me see on our X platform. Tammy is saying, nope, not concerned. He's doing what is best for his country. On our YouTube platform, Orinthia Campbell says, very concerned. I'm even concerned when I'm here on vacation. Anthony Williams said, leave that alone. Nah, touch that with a long stick. I am winning right now. Yes, very concerned. The man has lost his marbles doing whatever he wants internationally and within his own countries. We're in trouble. That's according to I am winning right now. Let me see if I can get in a few more. He is our president. Act like it, says Reggae-matic. Crosses is saying, be careful of your social media comments about certain countries. And he went on to say, no, I'm not concerned about any U.S. president. Him personified is saying, concern is an understatement at this point, more like perturbed. Yeah. Who am I? Says, I prefer to see a rerun. Okay. All right. Not going to trouble that one. Sharon Bless says, I'm bold. I'm very, very concerned. I have a great burden for the world. Okay. Sharon Bliss, I did say that these are the views of the people and not those of Robian Williams and Nationwide. Garfield says, me not participating in this discussion about U.S. President. I have to submit my social media handles to U.S. authorities and they are very vindictive. Linda says, me can't put Trump on my little brain. Okay. Uncle Trump is doing a good job. That's coming from Calvin Daly. Cindy Lynch says, I want him to free the people of Cuba. Yeah. Very much concerned. Let us stay in Jamaica and make it a place to work, play, raise family, and retire in Jamaica. That's coming from Edgar Gordon. Let me see. Michael says, if people are afraid of him, so they won't comment. Yeah, a whole lot of people hold them tongue, you know, yeah. As one said, Cross said, be careful of what you put out on social media, what you like, what you share. Yeah, because it takes very little to, for these things to be happening. Let me see. Yes, I'm concerned because of his action. It's making the world unstable, says Chris Mulling. If they're afraid to comment because he will revoke their visa or green card. Well, look at it this way. The green card is on a pause. The green card thing is on a pause at this point in time. Yeah. A lot of comments coming in on this one. Good evening to you, Marcia. Sharon Bless says, Robbie, no, I never know, say, have so much detached people responding foolishly to your question. Okay. All right. To each his own. I mean, you all have your different concerns, your views, and this is the court for it, the court of public opinion. I mean, what you say may or may not be used against you. All right. Thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion. The business report is up next. But until then, let me see if I can get in a few more. Okifi, I see that you're saying that. I see what you're saying right there. MDL says the question will show how Jamaicans can curse their own prime minister but kiss up to Trump. Wow. Calvin Daly says we all love Uncle Trump. And Calvin, many would ask you who you're classifying as all. Mia? Let me see if I can get in a few more here. Orinthia, I saw your comment earlier. Carlene Smith says uncle, questioning uncle. I can't put Trump on my little brain, says Linda Ming. The reason why Donald Trump like that, he was bullied when he was in school. Yeah. Ricky Slick says, don't care about Trump. I see your comment. Don't care about Trump. Brick Road, Jamaicans will always travel. We are a migratory and ambitious people. If it's not the US, it's 100 other progressive countries. Yeah. I've been seeing that comment floating around of late, that the United States is not the only place for people to travel. Gladys says, nothing don't last forever. He's only for a few more years. Yeah. Greetings to you. Let me see if I can get in some more. I'm not afraid of him. He's not Jesus Christ, says David Nebar. All right. Let us leave it right there, shall we? Thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion this evening. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The National Commercial Bank NCB has announced the appointment of Cherie Martin as interim chief executive officer following the departure of Bruce Bowen from the top job. Bowen will leave the organization effective February 28, 2026. Now, in a statement on Monday, the bank says Bowen will proceed on vacation leave ahead of his departure. The bank says the leadership transition aligns with its commitment to strong governance, continuity, and disciplined execution. Donald Trump has vowed to 100% follow through on his threat to impose tariffs on European countries who oppose his demand to take control of Greenland. European allies have rallied around Greenland's sovereignty. Denmark's foreign minister emphasized the U.S. president cannot threaten his way to ownership of the semi-autonomous Danish territory. UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper reiterated the UK's position that the future of Greenland is for Greenlanders and for the Danes alone to decide. On Monday, Trump declined to rule out the use of force and insisted he would press ahead with the threatened tariffs. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 26 cents to buy 1 British pound, 212 Jamaican dollars and 43 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 14 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams.
We need a bigger office where we can see more clients. Sounds like ambition is calling and Access Financial Services is answering. The funds are waiting.
Boss, I just can't hold on one truck, you know.
I know. We need another truck. Sounds like you have a plan and Access Financial Services can help. Horizon, a new loan product from Access Financial Services designed for women entrepreneurs to unlock the capital you need to grow and take your business beyond limits with quick approval, flexible repayment, and low interest rates. Your success is on the horizon.
We know the recovery after Hurricane Melissa hasn't been easy. That's why Flow is here to support our customers every step of the way. Flow has been issuing rebates to customers who experienced service disruptions as part of our commitment to doing right by you. Your bill is created automatically, so you may still receive one as usual. But if you're due a rebate, you'll see it clearly listed as an adjustment on that same bill. We encourage you to take a moment to review your statement to confirm the credited amount. And if your service is still offline because of Hurricane Melissa, rebates will continue until service is restored. Rebates are issued twice per month. If it's not reflected on your current bill, it should appear on the next bill. At Flow, our focus is on fairness, transparency, and making sure our customers feel supported. Thank you for your patience, your loyalty, and your understanding as we work to fully restore service across all affected communities.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
For a limited time, Home International Limited is offering a special price on select Corian colors. You can't miss this. Choose Corian for your kitchen or bathroom countertops. Corian is durable, beautiful, and long-lasting, solid right through, and no sealing necessary. Visit us at 104 Constant Spring Road or telephone 876-755-1970 or 276-6448. Open Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Good evening. It's 19 minutes going up to 7 o'clock. At 7, we're going to be premiering for you A Deadly Ritual, the Kevin Smith story, right here and, of course, on our nationwide live platform.
Right. And for those of you who can't wait and you want to get your hands on it and your eyeballs on it now, you can go on over to Nationwide TV. For the loyal viewers and listeners, you would know that we have 3 channels. And once you're subscribed to Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, you should see check out our main channels. Once you click on it, and you'll see Nationwide 90 FM Live, that has 33,000 subscribers, and Nationwide TV, which has 10,000 subscribers. You can go on over there now, Nationwide TV, if you'd like, if you don't want to wait on Cliff to drop it at 7. Yeah?
All right, we're going to press on now with the nation's business. The Supreme Court recently ruled that senior officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force acted outside of their legal powers, where they sanctioned a woman constable twice for her involvement in a social media video while in uniform. The video, which was posted on TikTok in January 2024, was at the time found to be in breach of the force's social media policy. Here's that video.
I'm a police. Of course, we'll just keep the case
course, everybody call me Squaddy.
I'm a police officer. Of course, I'm not going to ask that number.
Of course, me just keep it line. I'm a police officer. Of course, criminal going to escape in here by bushes. I'm a police officer. Of course, I'm a police officer. Of course, criminal going to escape in here
I'm a
by
police
bushes.
officer. Of course, I'm not going to.
The judgment was contained in a formal order issued last Thursday. Constable Mishka Sterling Gibson was directed to go to the National Police College for a remedial basic training course. Following the viral video, she was also fined 1 day's pay and was reprimanded. The other 2 police involved accepted similar sanctions.
But Constable Sterling Gibson challenged the actions by seeking judicial review, and that was granted. The court examined the police service regulations which limit the powers of senior officers in cases involving minor offences. In a judgment delivered by Justice Tanya Mott Tollereed, the court found that Deputy Commissioner Richard Stewart unlawfully ordered the constable to undergo months of confinement-style training at the Police Staff College.
The court also found that then Senior Superintendent, now Assistant Commissioner Michael Phipps, further erred by punishing her again for the same offence at the internal hearing. As a result, the court quashed both the decision ordering extended training and the outcome of the internal hearing. So, this evening we're looking at social media etiquette and the workplace. Should companies have social media policies? 1. And how far should they go in regulating our conduct online? For that discussion, marketing strategist Joel Namdurkam and principal consultant, attorney at law at Employment Matters Caribbean and HR partner at Careen and Stanley and Company, Carla Ann Harris Roper.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let me begin with you, Carla Ann Harris Roper. How far should companies go?
Well, I heard you speak earlier about whether or not a company should have a policy. It is my view that that is something that is most desirable, because it would start from the premise that an employee knows what the company's position is. Now, that policy can be incorporated into their employment contract, because as of now, I'm not sure, I don't believe that we have legislation that manages or monitors that. How far do you go, having put your policy in place? We know that as a democratic country, we do have freedom of expression. That is one of those guaranteed rights under our Charter of Rights. But we know that there is a caveat on that. You know, you can't just go carte blanche for yourself. You can't expose yourself to defamation and things of that nature. So I think it's a fine balancing act between making sure that the person is able to enjoy their freedom of expression on the one hand, but do not engage in activities on social media that exposes themselves and, more importantly for this discussion, their employer to possible liability by their behavior and what they do and say, especially if it impacts negatively on the employer's business. So at the far end of the spectrum, you should be allowed to, you know, express yourself outside of the office where there's really nothing that is tangential to your work on one end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, if it is going to expose your employer to liability or the implications for trust and confidence between yourself and the employer, that is a no-no. The piece that is going to give us the problem is what happens in between.
Yeah. Joel, I put the question earlier to my colleagues in the newsroom, and a heated debate ensued, because my question was, where does Ricardo Brooks stop and Nationwide begin, and where does Nationwide start and Ricardo end? And if it is that we're saying that I cannot be Ricardo Brooks without Nationwide, then Ricardo has become work. Me just a work. I am just work. How do you see it?
You know, honestly, we have to all admit that it's a changing landscape, because 15 years ago, this wasn't a conversation in terms of should workplaces have social media policy. It was just like that. You go work somewhere, you sign a contract, We're not even looking in dotted lines really, but you know that you go to work, you operate, or you do whatever you need to do. But now, where social media has become an integral part, where a lot of companies and brands have been tapping into the platform, it's also a reflection on how people are seeing that as an opportunity to utilize the platform, whether at their professional workplace, whether at the desk. You know, people making TikToks in office. Some companies are very big on employee engagement. So you see the CEO in some TikToks with the staff and that kind of stuff. And it seems as funny, and it comes across as how you're building work culture. However, the thin line is where anything that brings the company or the brand into disrepute online, that is really where the question is in terms of how can people be guided.
Right.
So the case now where you have the police officers, because I got a chance to watch this video, which I think was just, sometimes I just think everybody else is crazy sometimes. But at the same time, JCF has taken on a persona online where it's very funny, right? You know,
the Wanted Wednesdays campaign, yes.
The Wanted Wednesdays, so it is very funny. So the employees have now been empowered via their personal platforms to also do the same thing that the brand is communicating. So it goes back to your question is, where do you shut off and continue? Because the officers felt empowered to do so because the brand has been that type of brand for the past 5-6 years. I think it comes back down to each being their own. What do you consider to be inappropriate? And setting very clear definitions of what the policy is, how you operate within the policy, how do you use company property? Are you using company property to create the content for your personal use online? And kind of make very stringent guidelines. But it's a big conversation happening, but brands also need to be serious because they're on the platform being funny, but also trying to see how they can sanction their very employees who are not sure as to what this guidance or guidelines is.
But can we agree, ladies and gentlemen, that certainly the argument that was posited in that discussion today, that listen, companies should stick to business. We as employees, as individuals, must assert our own right to self-expression. Yeah? And where we are having a problem, the brand, it's all about the brand. Without the brand being viable, yes, you can't be compensated. Yeah? And the brand employs you to leverage your talent, your contribution to build value. So your behavior is entirely wrapped up in the goodwill and equity that brand is going to build up. So we can't take a position that, listen, it's me, it's not the brand, it's not Nationwide. Can we agree on that?
No, we can't agree on that. And I put it to you this way, Joel, because when I take off the branded shirt that says Nationwide 90 FM, am I not entitled to be Ricardo Brooks?
No,
Cliff, I disagree.
No,
you absolutely retain the right to be Ricardo.
Taking off the shirt does not mean it's not Ricardo Brooks of Nationwide doing this or saying that. You still continue to be Nationwide's Ricardo Brooks.
Until you move to go somewhere else.
No, but Joel, if Cliff is right, then we don't exist outside of where we work.
Precisely,
and
that's the world we're in.
That's deeply problematic.
That's the world we live in.
You know what it comes back to though, Chris. You know what it comes back though to Cliff and Ricardo is, again, at these same places, you have employees who are actually behind the scenes folk. They're not into this.
Joel?
Oh, don't know.
No. Oh, we lost. Okay, we're going to try
Carla Ann?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm listening with, quite a bit of intrigue to what is being said. Because, for example, the police officer, firstly, we know that persons who work in law enforcement have a certain standard. Let's take that specifically, for example.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to see the clip, I only heard, but I think one of my associates said they saw it, and I think the officers were in their uniform.
Yes, they were.
Right? So, whereas our colleague was saying, listen, JCF has been promoting a kind of Wanted Wednesday. Those are the people who have been authorized to do so. That is part of their role and function.
Yes.
Right? So unless it is that there was, some, and I don't think in this case tacit or implicit a nod is sufficient. I think the fact that these persons work in the Jamaica Constabulary Force and what it stands for is going to be very important as to whether or not a police officer in uniform can take that approach. They may want it to be funny, but it is not. That is not the kind of funny that I suspect the communications arm was talking about. Right? Yeah. So you have to. It is a situation, though, that I believe the old people say circumstances alter cases. Each case has to be looked at on its own merits, and we are not. This is not new. In looking at cases in preparation to come here, there's a famous case called Apple. Like Apple, the brand, the watch, the computer, and their employee, Mr. Crisp, who went online and really went off about how bad Apple products were when he worked for Apple. Right? And it was in a circumstance like that the English courts found that he was justifiably dismissed. He was, the company had a right to protect its brand, especially the products that they were selling.
Could you tell us of that case? I would love to read that case.
Certainly. But, in a circumstance like that, it was clear. But when you had another circumstance, another case where a lady worked with the British Council, she went on and jumped on a platform to speak about Prince George and his friends. The question was whether or not, having been employed to the British Council and having her own mind about republicanism as opposed to the monarchy, whether or not she could actually express herself about Prince George, a member of the royal family, in respect of, what, this whole issue of whether or not the monarchy has any relevance anymore. So you have to look at each case on its facts. What is clear is that there must be a space for persons, Ricardo, to be Ricardo. There must be a space for that. But when you are wrapped up, and most times when you go somewhere, they are going to say, Ricardo from Nationwide.
Exactly.
Unless they are going to say specifically, these views do not express any views of Nationwide before you start talking.
Carla, Cliff, Joel, a comment here on YouTube that caught my attention. Cliff, what you laid out, Ricky on YouTube says that would mean that Ricardo Brooks is employed 24 hours per day.
Hell no.
And should be paid as such.
No.
Joel, what do you think about that? Because if I am supposed to take on the moniker Ricardo Brooks from Nationwide, everywhere, all the time, equally.
I actually really love this discussion, and I really hope. I wish it was TikTokable, because I think people need to understand the clear thing that needs to happen. My other colleague laid it out very well in terms of at what point do you view what is appropriate from what's inappropriate. Because let's be real, I saw content the other day with a police officer who did goodwill. It went viral on Twitter because I think he helped somebody.
Oh yes, somebody with their grandmother, yes.
And that's goodwill content, and that's not something that we would argue to say, oh my God, take it down, he's in his uniform, because it's goodwill content, it's feel-good content. So I think the bottom line, again, goes to these entities, and it's not just JCF because of the subject now, but entities need to be very clear about what type of content they want to represent them online. For those, of course, the social media teams be privy to create the content and get approval and put it out, but other employees who may want to create the same, and what are the guidelines? And that's where the argument starts and stops. Now, the 24 hours versus, let me tell you, we can't separate.
That is a poor.
No. You allow Joel. You allow Joel.
No.
Joel. We invited Joel here. No. You don't lead Joel. Joel don't need to be led.
No, I'm not leading him.
He doesn't need to be led.
I'm not leading him
to answer the question.
Joel, let me tell you why that is such a poor.
Are you going to allow him to answer the question?
It is a poor example.
Producer.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's a poor example.
No, he doesn't need you to tell him. going to answer the question.
I am defending. Ricardo Brooks.
The microphone, Bugs. The microphone. He's badgering the guest.
No. Ricardo Brooks is not. Ricardo Brooks is not a part-time employee. Ricardo Brooks is not a freelancer. Ricardo Brooks is a full-time employee.
Is that full-time? 24 hours?
Very well compensated. Yes. And represents the brand. It's not a part-time employment.
Stacey, there for now, what happens there is, and we have to admit, you see, once anything goes in the digital space, I see a lot of people struggle. So, oh my God, I have to separate my personal life from my online life. Once you make it to digital, you are you. And as an employee of an organization, no matter what, at the end of the day, you'll still be a representative of that place until you announce that you've changed or you have moved on to somewhere else. So it adds, there's an added responsibility where, for instance, if I'm working at a bank or if I'm working at a renowned institution in a specific department that's always public-facing, because I decide to use my social media to show off where I work and the social impact I'm doing, and I'm at this meet and greet, I have taken a position to show that I'm affiliated here versus my other colleagues who don't use Facebook and nobody knows who them work. So they don't really have much to speak about in the social space. So we have to understand that we do bear that responsibility, because then any little thing was scandalous, you have to hear say you will work this though. So again, the guidelines I think are very important. I think that helps us to really zone in and center in on what again is considered appropriate, what is considered inappropriate, what's considered worthy of being posted, how people can operate within this, because we have to keep up with the time as well. Technology is advancing. Employer branding is very important as well for brands who are trying to attract new people to come and work there, because you want to show that the workplace nice and it's fun and you can learn and you can X and Y. But at the same time, there has to be clear guidelines. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to put the brand at risk, because once you decided to take a position to showcase or a day in the life of, Joel, you have already associated yourself.
Joel Numdarkham and Carla Ann Harris Roper, to be continued, because we have to protect the brand and go to the nationwide YouTube premiere of A Deadly Ritual, the Kevin Smith story. But we will have to continue this discussion, Joel, Carla, and thank you so much.
Joel, Carla, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your perspectives.
Thank you both.
Thank you for having me.
Good. Let's go to A Deadly Ritual, the Kevin Smith story.
Jamaica, we have been tested before, and every time we rise. Together, we will rebuild stronger, safer, and united. Hope lives here. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 7 o'clock.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Nightfall, October 17, 2021. Police swooped down on the Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in Montego Bay, St. James. They were responding to a report that a human sacrifice was taking place inside the church. More than 100 followers had gathered. They were all dressed in white robes. The head of the church was the self-styled prophet to the nations, His Excellency, Dr. Kevin O. Smith. The sacrifice involved senior members of the church stabbing and slashing several congregants. They were brainwashed into believing that they'd be embarking on a heavenly journey. 2 of the church members were killed in the ritual.
Time to pick up the sword is now. Remember that Yeshua walked with his disciples who had their sword. He told them to put it up because the time will come when you're going to need to pull it out. And so that time is now.
I think that is only how the movie is. I saw them all dressed up in white, and I thought there was baptism going on.
I hear the gunshot them firing on Sunday evening. About 5 to 75 after 7.
On the day of the gruesome ordeal, Dr. Smith had posted to Facebook a request of his followers. They were told to leave their mobile phones at home before heading to the church. He warned them of an oncoming flood.
Something was about to bring strife and division.
One of the members, it's reported, snuck a phone into the church. That member called police after witnessing the horror of another congregant being killed. The question you are asking is, who was Dr. Kevin O. Smith?
I am the fountain of life. I am the Catherine Peak. I come from St. Catherine. That's why you gave me water from where I come from. St. Catherine, Jamaica is where I was born. I have fulfilled all things.
Kevin Smith was born in Glengough, northern St. Catherine, into a humble and struggling family. That family earned its living through farming. A former principal of Grateful Hill Primary in St. Catherine, David Bowes, says he knew Smith and his family from as far back as the 1980s.
Humble young man, parents, not well-to-do parents, struggling parents like all the parents in Glengough. But they would always attend school, and I don't know about his church connection, right? Playful teachers have had any problem with it.
Many residents of the Sleepy community said Smith grew up in the church. They say Smith's maternal side had a history of mental illness.
Then I really chop you with the mad. Auntie, where did I shed madman. Turning in them family, but I was said to Kevin. Him don't take it from his father's side. Take from his mother.
Smith migrated to Canada in 1993, 3 months after passing his exams for Jamaica College, one of Jamaica's most prestigious all-boys high schools. It has produced 2 prime ministers, 1 national hero, and scores of cabinet ministers and captains of industry.
He migrated to Canada. Him and his mom and his little sister. We never see my Kevin.
Smith's family moved to Martin Grove in Ontario, an inner-city community in Canada. From as young as age 14, Kevin Smith was identified as a preacher of great potential. He returned to Jamaica in 2011 amid allegations that he had sexually assaulted a man. Smith was convicted for buggering a 21-year-old man on November 5, 2007 in Canada. He served 6 months in a prison in Canada and was given 2 months probation. When Smith returned to Jamaica, he immediately established his ministry. The members of his congregation were convinced that Smith was touched by God and did indeed possess supernatural powers. One of his followers, Ezra, says he saw demons being exorcised from people.
I was amazed in seeing, how he preached, and people have been surrendering their lives there. People would be having demon possessed and so on. They get deliverance from that and they pray for them. And I was growing up in church, so I like church. So I heard of things happening there, so I keep on visiting there.
Another church member, Fred, was awestruck by the charismatic pastor.
What I saw there was something different from what I would have experienced from a regular church. My traditional church that I used to go to, I used to visit other charismatic church, like Pentecostal ministers who operate in the seer anointing, you call it prophetic anointing. And that was what attracted me. He was a prophet based on what I saw in the service.
When you stand before him, he can even tell you your age without you tell him. And so he knows things without you tell him. And I think that is what convinced people a lot that, you know, he's a man of God, he's a prophet.
He said to me, you look young, but you seem to be old. And he told me my age, and I confessed my age. And he said to me that each time I start something in life, it's like it starts and it doesn't come, it never finish. When I reflect on what he said, it's true. I had experience in my life where things started out good and then it just eventually just never complete.
Fred says he paid $300 to be part of Smith's ministry.
I started with a consultation with him, and he has weekly consultation. They call it the clinic. I think it was $50. So whatever the currency price at the time, you pay the $50. He explained why he charged it. He said that he has his doctoral degree, and what he did is basically is a profession. So he trained for what he did, because he was a psychopathic counselor, if I'm correct with the career description, along with his gifting being a prophet. So that's the reason why he charged. He told us in church why he charged. He told me some things about my life, my past lifestyle, and I admit to it. I was impressed by what he said to me. By then I decided to get baptized. But not only the consultation, he said I had to do deliverance, but I had to pay for the deliverance fee. At that time was $250. $250 US. Plus the consultation fee.
Tithe is your 1/10 of your earning. 1/10. If I earn $50,000, $5,000 my tithe.
The counselor for the Montego Bay West Division in the St. James Municipal Corporation, David Brown, says he was told that some people had to pay a late fee to enter the church.
I heard someone saying that, you know, he charges late fees for when people come late to church. He has to enter the church building before and perform a closed door ceremony before the congregation can enter the church. So hearing those things, I thought, wow, you know, that practice is very strange. But once again, who am I to judge?
Money played a huge part in Smith's ministry. He ordered followers not to put any $100 notes in the offering plate. The inference being $100 too small. One woman, a Miss Vicky, who lived next door to Smith's church, says she visited once. She was awestruck by what she saw.
When he started preaching, he wasn't even preaching. Him cussing them out, him telling them how they must do and how much money they must throw. No $100, strictly $500, $1,000, $5,000, and you can write the checks also, and US dollars from 20, 50, 100.
To his followers, Kevin Smith was nothing short of royalty. He was a king they paid handsomely to have hold court in church in their presence.
I'm the shepherd, you're the sheep, so you know that you all have to worship me because I am in charge, just like a mother would be in charge of her children. I didn't give a damn child. Me do want some of the money with them a collect. 4 times for the night in collect money.
Despite the revelations, and despite what appears to be a cult following around him, Ezroy believes Kevin Smith was indeed a good man. According to Ezroy, Kevin Smith was a man of God.
Seems to be a good person. He said he's a prophet, and you know, he predicts things and we see it come to pass. He preached very dynamic and powerful, and you know, as a person who used to Pentecostal church and so on and things, and you see a person so vibrant, and he's educated, and you know, the charisma about him is just awesome. So you know, we just gravitate to his church.
And so Pastor Smith was a godlike figure to his followers. According to Miss Vicky, this was evident in the manner in which they greeted him at church.
As when he comes, you can know, you know. Yes, when he comes in, Everybody have to be clapping and they bowing in front of him, which I went there one Sunday night and I saw that happen. Where they keep bowing to him and clapping and bowing and they spread carpet out and he walks from his car right around the church, right up to the rostrum where he is. And where he sits is like a throne. Nobody else won't sit up there unless he invites them up there. So.
Ms. Vicky says she saw an eclectic collection of personalities troop to Smith's church week after week. She saw scammers, politicians, and entertainers go to visit with the man who insisted that he be referred to as His Excellency.
You read of people, because people used to go over there. I used to read these people go over there. Obeah style, I've seen it with my own eyes. I see some real big cars. I mean, it's either scammer, gunman, or some politician car them.
But according to Ezroy, there were troubling signs. During the COVID-19 lockdown, Ezroy said Kevin Smith's message started changing, and he began to wonder if His Excellency was developing a mental illness.
I to listen to some of his latest messaging and I said, something is wrong with his head. And I said to myself, if I were visiting church regularly, I would have said to somebody because I pick it up.
Smith's meltdown was fatal. 2 people died and the nation was traumatized. Tanika Gardner was one of the 2 persons whose lives were ended on that cool October night. She died leaving 2 grown children. Her son, who we'll call Alex to protect his identity, says his mother was a good person.
She was more like a jovial person. Very kind. She's just nice.
Alex says Tanika Gardner left him with his father at only 2 months old. She came back into his life at 16 when he was in high school.
I don't grow with my mother. My father always tell me say from me at 2 months old. My mother left me with him. And he grew me from me at 2 months old. Right up till I turn big boy and send me to school and do every little thing. He don't make me short or nothing. Since
when
me get
did she
big.
come back in your life?
Since me get big when me about 16, 17.
Alex says he has no idea why his mother chose Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries. He says he couldn't know the motivation because his mother was highly secretive.
She's a secretive person. Just see if she knows say she going to say something to you and she know your reaction, she just say something to make you feel like say she with you. If you not go fear away.
He says all his mother would say when he inquired about why she chose that church was that things would get better soon.
One night time she tell me say everything's alright and even one night time she tell me say alright and I need to go look for your passport, you know. If she get a chance to go, she just do what she have to do and go the which part she did.
Alex says he believes that Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries was for people who wanted to move up in life.
The people who go to the church, it's like some go for riches, making life better, in a better job or to step up in a job, be a supervisor, something like that.
What money you spend there, don't think you're gonna leave and go to another church and prosper. You cannot prosper. You have to be here because I am your leader. I am in charge of your life.
But once you be indisciplined based on his findings, he dismisses you. And he said, I remove his covering. His covering means that he's no longer praying for you, nothing like that. He stopped. And if members see you on the road, they must not be dealing with you, no talking. They must just ostracize you.
He says he visited the church twice and had what he describes as an unbelievable experience.
Well, the first time, nothing never really happened. More than me just like, the pastor preach and you know, call up few people and he start talk or he do whatever he do. They would like drop down and normally, I go to church and you know people get in a spirit and everything. But not the way how I see them go another church. Normally when you go to church you know say you would get in a spirit then. You would say hallelujah and them, you understand? But them, I'll talk to them one another and they sit there. If the man they talk to you, somebody on the ground when he do what he do to them, him claim to say, I don't what in people they may talk to him.
One thing he says he never quite got to grips with was how late the church services began and how late they ended.
Some about at church where me I say, what make a night they have to keep church? What make a can in a day, half a night? And when you left church all 2 o'clock in the next morning, 2 a.m. in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, you left from your yard like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So my time you now come back till all Monday morning.
Alex says that on his second visit to the church, he actually had a conversation with His Excellency, Dr. Kevin Smith.
She invited me at church the second time. And just call up some people. And in the day I talk to me and everything. Like when me go to school, I never have no lunch money for go to school. Most of the day them are sitting. My father could have hardly find money and my father chop people yet. Only know all of them is sitting. And he never see me.
Alex saw his mother 2 weeks before her death. She told him to pack his belongings because a storm was coming. She sold all her belongings, waiting for the great storm to come.
And he started telling me that I have to buy up food, draw up money what I have in our account, and one bag of something. So I said, what make you tell me that? He must say, pastor, tell him, Daddy didn't call him. Say, Daddy said, flood will come and climb out the hand. So I said, oh, he knew that, I nobody else know that. All they tell me, so, why go on to New York and nobody can go fight. So if me have nobody over there, if you call him and tell him to come in.
He said it wasn't just a flood, he said a tsunami. He said that the globalists, whoever the elites, a group of elites, they are planning series of attacks on the world, and that was one of them. He said the tsunami was not going to just be a natural thing. It's going to be like a man-made. He spoke about a system called HARP. I said the HARP system would have been what would cause the earthquake, and the tsunami would follow after these mega earthquakes.
Saturday, the night before the deadly attack, Dr. Smith told his congregation to come to church.
He instructed us to come this Saturday, dressed in white. When we got to the property, we were told that we need white linens. We should have an offering of $1,444 and a Jamaican and flour, cornmeal I should say, not flour, cornmeal. My studies after that day, I asked the question what the cornmeal was about. It's a part of a ritual. The Indians, the ancient Indians in America, they would use it for ritual purpose.
In our research, we found cornmeal has held significant ritual importance in various cultures, particularly among Native American Pueblo and ancient Egyptian civilizations, where it was associated with death, rebirth, and the sustenance for the spirit in the afterlife. So, cornmeal is used as a sustenance for the spirit in the afterlife? Does this indicate that Kevin Smith was planning to send his followers into the afterlife? Sunday at the church, Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries. Just after 5 a.m., Miss Vicky was listening to Alex's mother's final moments.
Do you believe I am God?
Yes, Pastor.
Andre, come.
She heard shots.
We hear 2 more shots. At that time, the police were coming up because there's a police post at 2nd Street up the top. And those police had came up here and called for assistance. So by the time those 2 Jeep load of police were up there, we saw 3 Jeep soldiers coming up. And they park up right in front of my Jeep there, and they run on up and they tell them to back on the other side, go back on the other side. And they don't. Some were outside and some inside, and they all run up inside the yard. And the police them say, no, come on, move from there. And the door was locked. And the police started telling the soldiers went up there and police to the door, and they say, open the door, this is the police. Police and the soldiers and go around to the side. I was knocking the window, telling them, open the door. And they wouldn't open the door until I think is one of the soldiers them grabbed the door and they started shaking it, and somebody from inside pulled the door. And then they went in now. They saw the scene. That gruesome scene what is inside there.
Alex says that on the night of his mother's death, a strange feeling engulfed him.
In the kitchen, a family. Normally when I go dog in a lane, you know. But normally when I go in, I would have one dog bark off for me. I didn't just bark on top. But the NIA, as me touch in a lane, I just feel one different feeling. You understand? I just not feel right like how I would feel any other night. So I go up on my yard, pull my door and go in. But what me feel, I say, no man, something wrong man. I start sweat from head to toe. I say, Father God, what is for me? I wonder if I'm last night on earth, sir. See me, I say, come back out, take off my clothes, come back out the door and come in the house, back way. I don't feel like a feeling there again. Turn up the door and I say, no man, sitting alright, something about the night. I did hear dog them start bark. After 12 to 1 in time, you know. Dog them start bark and sitting. Dog start hoon and I always hear them say. So anytime you hear them say, somebody go dead. You understand? Guess what? Only if you know say the dog them talk to me, but true me can't understand say I thought them talk to me or tell me say somebody for me dead or somebody dead. Anyway, I did and listen to them till end top. When end top, I go lay down. Say, yes, Father God, thank you for your next night. Go up to live to see your next day and go on my bed.
Alex says he frantically called his uncle, only to learn that his mother had passed.
Uncle asked me, say, me you are going. I say, no. I start make up my face and I say, after what happened? Same time, I say, oh, you know, you see your mother did. I say, for me mother, I'm taking phone from me, yes. Remember, say, on my phone. Because my dad mash up the phone. I just hang up the phone. I had him full of water.
Kevin Smith was arrested for the murder of a congregant inside his church. On October 25, 2021, Smith was being transported to Kingston in a police convoy when a crash occurred. He died in the crash. At the time, many felt the crash was a result of Smith using his supernatural powers to prevent the system from locking him in a jail cell in Kingston. They felt he caused the crash and left his body to exist in the supernatural realm. Some people, many of his hardcore believers, still think he's with us today in the land of the living.
When I heard, I told them, he's not dead. I don't believe his heart is eager to die.
The Bible is a powerful thing, and the Bible does speak about false prophets and people who use the name of Jesus Christ for nefarious activity. And the Bible does say that I'm a jealous God and my judgment will be swift and resolute.
He is dead. He is dead.
Kevin O. Smith will be remembered as the charismatic cult leader of Pathway International Kingdom of Montego Bay St. James, who drove fear in his congregants, caused wonderment for those not a part of his church, and forced the nation to seriously examine its spiritual core. Smith's behavior as a charismatic leader of a church is not new to the Caribbean. One of the greatest cult leaders, Jim Jones, killed over 900 people, including children, in Guyana. Jones was an American cult leader who gained popularity in the 1960s and 70s. Like Smith, Jones preyed on those who were bullied, downtrodden, and those who felt rejected by the world. Jones created his own religion, the People's Temple, which gained a large following due to Jones's charisma and incredible ability to wow a crowd. His cult moved with him to the South American country of Guyana, where they created their own commune. This would later become the setting of one of the largest American civilian casualties in a single non-natural event. Jones encouraged his congregants to commit mass suicide, resulting in over 900 deaths by drinking Kool-Aid laced with poison. There are some questions that the religious community must answer. 1. Who interrogates the churches? 2, should the government have an oversight body to maintain certain governance principles and practices at so-called churches? And 3, if it did, would we have detected the issues that signal that there were indeed deep problems at Dr. Kevin Smith's Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries?
At the age of 9 years old, the angel of the Lord came and spoke to this body and asked me if I will give the eternal yes. I have given the eternal yes. I came as Jonah the warner, but they mocked me and they scoffed me. They surrounded me and they looked at me and said, "Who is this man?"
We know the recovery after Hurricane Melissa hasn't been easy. That's why Flow is here to support our customers every step of the way. Flow has been issuing rebates to customers who experienced service disruptions as part of our commitment to doing right by you. Your bill is created automatically, so you may still receive one as usual. But if you're due a rebate, you'll see it clearly listed as an adjustment on that same bill. We encourage you to take a moment to review your statement to confirm the credited amount. And if your service is still offline because of Hurricane Melissa, rebates will continue until service is restored. Rebates are issued twice per month. If it's not reflected on your current bill, it should appear on the next bill. At Flow, our focus is on fairness, transparency, and making sure our customers feel supported. Thank you for your patience, your loyalty, and your understanding as we work to fully restore service across all affected communities.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
.30, we're back with you on Nationwide at 5. Final lap now. Yeah? So
before we go, we have to comment on A Deadly Ritual.
Yeah.
In which you made a cameo appearance.
Big Oscar performance.
No, Ricardo.
No. Cliff.
We only saw the back of your head.
A big Oscar performance. And big up my co-stars,
Nora
and Bucky.
Oh? Bucky was in there?
You know what's a Bucky?
No.
Yes, man. Bucky was the one wielding the weapon.
Oh, it was Bucky. But Nora,
yes.
Nora, I think, captured her part very well.
Excellent as always.
Yeah. But let's move beyond that.
And I just congratulate the members of the online team. Excellent production.
Yes, yeah. Sonia and her team there, really good work. Good work. Yeah, and I see the people in the YouTube chat loving it. Yeah, quite intense. Yeah, NNN, good job. People to this day love pastors more than God. Well done. 4% sell off again. Well done, says Brandon Ormsby. Too short, Tony. Yeah. I must see, says Kurt Buchanan.
Mary Jane says, big up yourself, Sonia. Tony says, double Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving fast. Gail says Nationwide is the greatest. Marva says great job, NNN. So
blessed Marcia Favor. So Cliff, is this going to be a Netflix series? Interesting.
Kirk Walsh says, Sir George, your narrative work is top notch. Yeah.
Sherry Kerr said, oh my God, Lord have mercy. Will there be a part 2? Annie Smith says.
Duchess of St. Andrew says, box cover. What a story. Well done, NNN.
Very well. Well, congratulations to all the online team members who put that together.
One right? Online. Pan it up.
One.
7:32. We're taking your calls now. 630-937-124, 618-6730. And for those of you, again, who want to watch it and rewatch it, Nationwide TV, it's up live. And once this live stream ends on Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, it will be available on this channel as well. So, yeah, you can watch it at your leisure. Bobby.
Yes, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening, Bobby.
Ricardo, before I touch you, I just want to throw something out to Cliff. Cliff?
Yes, sir.
You have the best workers in any media house in Jamaica. And I am proposing a 98% wage increase for all of them. And the workers at Nationwide.
I'm sure they would agree with you.
Could I clip that for me?
And workers at Nationwide, if Cliff don't say anything to you between now and next month, as a justice of the peace, I will use my authority on him.
Yes.
So please get in touch with them immediately, Cliff.
All right.
They are doing a good job.
I hear you. And I'll take it under active consideration.
Right, sir, yes. Please do. Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
I was listening to the conversation about the social media thing. May I tell you something? I serve on the board at a particular school, Eltham High School, and I'm also a justice of the peace.
Yes.
You see, when I am on the road, I have to walk, I have to talk like a member of Eltham High School and also a justice of the peace. Even at night when I walk through certain places in Spanish Town, I am hearing, sir. No, can you imagine if I was behaving a certain way on the road? From you are in certain position, you carry that brand with you for life. So Ricardo, you work at Nationwide. And anything you do on social media or otherwise, first thing people will say, yes, I Ricardo that from Nationwide, you know. You have to always...
Like you're telling Fima, Bobby, he can't take off the shirt and put it on.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. You cannot, Ricardo. You are always representing the place where you work. You, Tyrone Reed, worst Judge Davis. I am telling you. So you cannot talk about take off the shirt and put it on. Oh, you are not at work now, so you can post anything on social media. And no, Ricardo, no. I cannot do it because as the people them see it and them hear about Bobby, oh my, man, where time him come from? He's a JP, he's a this and he's a that. No, we have to be careful, Ricardo. We have to.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
Okay then, cool.
630-937-124,
Argument done, Ricardo.
618-6730. The argument done. Papa Nana.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good work Nationwide. But I have two complaints to make. Right? I dislike when I hear you people talk about the 4%. I personally don't like it, and the only person who could have come by that 4%, it would have to be listen. It would have to be Mr. Anderson take that poll.
No.
And I don't expect you to
leave that Anderson alone.
I am saying that is my views. Can I go to court for saying that?
No. But you should still leave that Anderson alone.
I don't have a views.
What's the next point?
Yeah, man, brush me off. Anyway, Since I don't have the handle, me will follow what you say. And me have the blade. All right. Let me complain now. If I call you, Ricardo, and you put me on hold, how much call you can take at one time? All right, say you take 5 calls, but you put all of us on hold and you move from 1 till you reach your 5. And this morning I call, and it's when birthday greetings going on. Before I know that you people couldn't take my call. And it's not the first. Nora would come to me and say, if you see on that program, and say, Papa Nana, we are out of time, try again because we are not going to be able to take your call. And I was there waiting. And nobody come and say to me that, Carla, I cannot take your call because we are out of time. Hold that road.
All right, here's the thing, Papa Nana. Sometimes, and I remind the producers, right? Because you are right. Somebody should have come and said to you, you know, we won't be able to take any more calls. But if I could just speak for the producers, I know sometimes they're in the studio and they're juggling multiple things. And so you're talking about Nationwide this morning?
Yes.
Right, so that's Michelle. And I know Michelle is extremely courteous. So it must have been an oversight on her part for her not to have told you. Right?
No, I'm not going to crucify her, but I mean, let me tell you something, you know, what other people don't understand, you know. It's not 4% people trying to get you, you know. It's millions trying to get you, you know. So when I get you, you know, it's coming like buying a lot one win, you know. It's very hard to get, you know, and spend money.
Yes. All right, I hear you.
I really have it, but if me not do that, and you know what, people come sit down here, even if them depend the orange color, them sit down and listen. And when I am there, and you know, say, hold on, man, God Almighty, man, tell me, say,
no, I understand.
You can't take me call, no, man.
I understand, and that is fair, and we apologize for that, Papa Nana. I'll remind the producers that when they can't take any more calls, they should tell those who are waiting.
All right, tell me how much time should I forgive you people?
Well, we got 77 times 7, that's all?
No, but I go so far because you can't add that.
All right, but we're not reaching nowhere near this yet, so you have a ways to go.
Yeah, Mr. You tell me. Anyway,
no.
I want to ask you something.
Yes.
Is there a tool law in this country? Because I heard that they had nabbed somebody with cocaine weekend gone. And I took this day, I don't hear the name and I don't hear it broadcast again. Is what?
First of all, there were 2 senior government of Jamaica employees.
Employed to the local authority.
Exactly. One to the St. Ann Municipal Corporation. Where was the other one employed?
I think it was St. Trelawney, yes.
Trelawney Municipal Corporation. They were not government officials, as a headline said. No. It were 2 senior employees at the local authority level.
No, that it clear up because it's wrong here and the place doesn't smell good. It's government minister.
No. That was not reported anywhere.
Good God, you know, I know Nationwide have to be careful, you know, because you have a whole heap of watchman. But let me tell you something, man. Me no want you nothing about no 4% business.
All right. Give me one proverb before you go now, no?
All right. Me give you that one here already. Let me tell you the honest truth. If you take brute force and jump in a tiger back, you might end up in them belly.
If you take brute force and jump in a tiger back, you end up in them belly.
Yes, like what happened to Mr. Golden and Mr. Holness.
Oh, what?
You take brute force and jump in a Mr. Holness back and look where you end up.
Let me see if I figure out what that means. So it means if you approach the tiger that is dangerous, like you're bad, Maganyamio.
Yes.
See, I told if you do that, can me get the one say if mongoose have secret for dog, then foul, now go safe. Alright. Me I go on good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Papa Dada.
Yes.
Faithful, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes. Good evening, Mr. Brooks.
Good evening, Faithful.
We have a wonderful documentary. People are enjoyed a whole lot.
Good.
Yes. Wonderful news I hear over the weekend. With the United Nations General Secretary decided they want to change the format of United Nations. Because I always advocate, why should should you have only 5 permanent members who have veto power, and the rest of person don't? And they are the ones that do some of the most humane thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Russia invading Ukraine and not going to leave until you accomplish what you want to accomplish. You have veto power. China having taken over Taiwan either by peace or by force. Taiwan has become a part of Russia, of China, America. Our place for shooting gun and disturbing people's life.
And been the country that has invaded, that has pulled off the most invasions of other countries in history.
Yes, so why should they alone have veto power? Well, the United Nations, that should have taken place a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a debate that has been going on for some time intermittently, you know. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't gone anywhere because what it would mean in terms of changes and reforms, that the 5 powerful veto bearing members now will lose some of the power, and they're not prepared to give that up.
Right. And I guess the reason why they have it, in my view, at that time they were the 5 that have nuclear power at that time.
They won the war. They won the Second World War.
They won the war, but they were the one that have veto power, that have nuclear power at that time.
Yes.
England, France, China, Russia, and America.
Yes.
And the other person that said, if that is the benchmark, you can give it to India and Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And even Kim Jong-un.
But something is fundamentally wrong with its structure, and that structure has been how old now? 80 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, where the 5 veto powers, the populations they represent on Earth. Yeah, India alone has a population of 1.2, 1.3 billion, and is not around that table. Yeah, China is around the table, but certainly not India. Yeah, not Indonesia. Yeah, which has 80 million people. Nigeria, another 50, 60 million people. No, it needs reforming.
If they did have good moral background, you can say yes, they are an example for the Western world. Mm-hmm. I could go along with, but how could you sit and the United Nations have a permanent member? And I think when I principle is to prevent war, and they are the one that's fighting war.
Mm-hmm.
That's the veto power. That's
especially today's United States of America, and I say today's America. Yeah.
I'm only thing that England did. England was one who caused the partition between India and Pakistan, and they are fighting at that time, and they know.
Mm-hmm.
So, come on. I was listening to the news over the weekend. I'm back home in Jamaica. I was watching the news over the weekend, and I think for the first time, I think I felt disappointment with the newscast and nationwide because of something you guys did not report it.
Mm-hmm.
Because based on the utterance of you, Mr. Youth and George,
mm-hmm.
I think there was a demonstration in the West, and I did not hear it reported on.
When was that demonstration?
I think it was Friday.
Friday
or Thursday.
And what was it about?
I can't read it. I didn't hear it on the news.
Oh? Well, I don't recall Friday, but certainly it was in the news this morning.
Yeah, I know it was in the news this morning, but I'm thinking it's right. Put it this way, based on what you taught us that it doesn't matter as long as the news is not defamatory to nobody, and it is a concern for the nation or what the case may be, it's supposed to be reported on. And I always say to myself, I'm a consumer of news, as I often can say. I'm a consumer of news, and particularly, I listen to 3 major news, Nationwide, RJ, and IRFM. And I always tell myself, if I'm going away, and I take one news with me, I want to take Nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And when that is omitted, I think I could take anyone then if the standard is diverting and and what I expected.
But I don't think that's fair to say the standard is diverted because Cliff just pointed out to you that it came this morning.
No, but it was from last week, and the person was expected to report it when it was in the news when it was in the news all over.
Okay. Hear you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
630-937-124 East Central.
Ricardo, good evening, Mr. Youth.
Good evening.
The Adelphi Primary School is getting some attention now, man. The roof is now fixed. It doesn't complete, but Team Rubicon has been there from about earlier last week. They has been in Adelphi, St. James. I spoke to them, gave them an interview. They had indicated to me that they were down south fixing some school, but they had just transported to Montego Bay, where they are now in Adelphi doing the roof work at Adelphi Primary. And it seems it's bearing fruit. The roof look good now, the timber them put up straight. Everything is now on part. By next week, they said that they will finish in the Adelphi Primary and move on to somewhere else. So that is a plus for the people of St. James, East Central and Adelphi and the adjoining communities. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. But outside of that, Mr. Ricardo wanted to remind trial judges about a number of things, because I see that there are some things dropping water somewhere there, which it seems difficult to come back out of the water. Because one of the recent cases just comes back from the Court of Appeal, where the defense attorney, Sajay Mitchell, had appealed that case. That case has come back in the last quarter of last year, and the person was acquitted.
Which case?
One of the main focus that he has to go to the appeal court is he had indicated to the intervention by the learned Chief Justice has brought into question. So, as a result of that, he has to go to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal might find something inconsistent with the first trial, because there was a number of witnesses who had indicated, well, this was not that and that was not that. But
sorry, hold on, East Central, which case are you talking about?
Oh, Conroy Stevenson.
Conroy, what was that about?
It was a 2014 killing. A man was charged for murder and sentenced. In 2019, he was sentenced to 16 years.
That's the one where the Court of Appeal overturned the Chief Justice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying the part to say that it's difficult by not using the jury as well as it's difficult by using the jury, but I wouldn't abolish jury trial and go non-capital for judge alone, because people on the ground know what I want. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, East Central. It's 10 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. Marie, good evening.
Hi, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
We're all right.
Good.
You know what I want to ask you to do? Can you get Mr. Tufton to speak to Cornwall Regional Hospital? We need to understand what is going on up there. Why is it that there are no beds? Why everybody's sitting in chairs? If you're there for 2 weeks, you're sitting in a chair. If you have thrombosis, you're sitting in a chair. If you have heart attack, whatever your condition is, you are looked after sitting in a chair. You don't leave the triage area, the emergency area, the trauma area. I went up there and Cliff, it troubled me, and it is still troubling me. I felt like I went to shoot me. You would think you just have some kind of disaster and you have all kinds of people in one area and they would be moving to other places eventually. But that is what it is until you go for your loved ones are then dead or whatever. It's unacceptable.
Yes. We hear the complaints, ma'am, and only this morning we reported the Medical Doctors Association President, Rene Badro, making that case that the situation at Cornwall Regional has worsened following the fallout from Melissa. And the situation was bad, she said, even before the hurricane, and it's even worse now.
But what I don't understand, they have been repairing the hospital. Mm-hmm. I want to know if the floors are being used. Where are what is happening with the building? Because I'm seeing the people in the trauma area. You have trauma 1 and trauma 2. Is it that the buildings are full of sick people? What is the issue? And the tents that were put up for Melissa, they are empty. They don't use them.
Mm-hmm. Why?
If you have, I don't know. If you have sore foot, you're sitting beside somebody who have drip. There was this man, the man take off the whole line clothes. I mean, I don't know if a mental issue in house. And he's sitting in the same place with the other people then beside him. And I mean, if you do not look down where you're putting your foot, cliff your drop on people. Mm. It is packed. It smells like urine, it's blood, everything. It's not supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to be in that kind of situation, and if we have to be in it for a period of time, explain to us why. Because me go up there and I don't understand why me see what me see. Mm-hmm. I don't understand it. I need to understand it. Mm-hmm. Because we have to take our loved ones up there. Mm-hmm. A brother of mine went up there, and he's the first he's 80-something, at the first missing cry I water from the bomb. Asking them to let him go back home, and they move him from trauma 1 and put him over trauma 2. You know what's the difference? He could lean back in the chair. Mm-hmm. That was the upgrade.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it to our attention again, ma'am. You're not the first and won't be the last. Yes? But Dr. Tufton has questions to answer. Yeah? About what's happening at Cornwall Regional, University Hospital of the West Indies as well.
Yes, we need to understand why it is, how it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for the call, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Good.
Yeah. He has questions to answer. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where are those dialysis machines at the University Hospital procured about 2 years ago? Where are they? Are they at the hospital? Or are they at some other private medical facility? And on what terms? Yeah? What is that deal about? Why they are not at UWI, but they are somewhere else, as I'm told. This is...
We wait to hear from the health minister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the government. Yeah. Ah, boy. So, it's almost time for us to go, Mr. Brooks.
It is time for us to go.
Yeah. We have to say thanks to our producer, Dana Davey, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, members of the news and production team. Thank you all so much. And, of course, you can go back on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
To see a deadly ritual, the Kevin Smith story. Yes? If you missed it in the last hour, please go back and take a look at it. Yeah? It is very good. Right? I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
Draxall Creative Building Finishes is